thank you very much for coming to this wonderful opportunity to interact with John C. Reilly.
You were born and raised in Chicago's South Side. What was the Chicago of your childhood?
The main thing I remember from my childhood is going to sound odd, but the main thing I remember is green paint. So, a lot of green memories.
By portraying men with humor, heart, and respect, have you ever thought of yourself as a spokesman for your generation?
I never felt like a spokesman for my generation, but I suppose I'm a representation of it, you know, and I tried to make choices that reflected my own values and things that I thought were, you know, artistically interesting. So I guess I'm a pretty important guy to that person.
And
I gotta start really thinking about my choice now. I'm a spokesman of a generation. Me and Bob Dylan.
I'm going to open up the question and answer period now from the audience.
I'm just curious now, with so many different types of films that you've done, how do projects come to you now, and what are the easiest choices and the hardest choices to make?
Mostly my work just comes from what other people have seen me in something. That's why you have to be careful what you do choose to do, because it will determine not only what you're doing, but what you're going to do. It's sort of a snowball effect. If you start doing stuff you don't believe in, that's just kind of crappy, it will be a big crappy snowball by the end of your life. A lot of my job, I think, is to look for what's not coming and look for directors that I want to work with. And that's how I ended up in the film that I have here at the festival, We Need to Talk About Kevin. I just loved Ratcatcher and Morven Caller, two great movies by Lynn Ramsey, and I just tracked her down. I was like, what is Lynn Ramsey doing? She hasn't made a movie in 6 years. And it turned out it was this one, and she wanted me to do it.
I'm curious, compared to all the series roles you've done over the years, how do you become Steve Brule?
I can't speak for Dr. Brule, but I should warn you that if you do live by those rules, you might be an unhealthy lifestyle. He gives some weird advice. I'm not sure what kind of doctor he is either. I met Tim and Eric. I met him at a bowling alley actually in Los Angeles, where I meet all the important people in my life. Somehow they came to LA and they had this office and a budget to make funny stuff for cable and with no one overseeing them. They walked in, I was like, you have a green screen, you can just stand in front of it and do whatever you want. No one tells you, no one checks the script, like, no, just whatever you want, like, come on in. So I just came, you know, one day Steve Brule just appeared there and it snowballed into a big crappy snowball. I don't know, it's hard to say like advice to a director or advice to an actor, because the truth is, each project is a tailor-made situation. Everyone has to adapt themselves to the people around them, to the environment, and to the story you're trying to tell. That's one of the wonderful things about being an actor. It's one of the reasons that I, you know, pursued it. Was it's really like free therapy, you know. By being a vessel for other people, you learn a lot about yourself, and I mean, hopefully I'm always making discoveries. I don't know that it's as exciting or as mind-blowing as it was when I was in your position, because it seemed like just walking out of the house, I was going to have a new experience every day. But yeah, I'm settling into my old age nicely, and that's an adventure of a different kind. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it.